Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday, the 2nd of April 2023. It was an interesting week. We had a strong finish to the week. I'm going to get started with look through the major indexes before we get into the regular members content, looking at the weight of evidence in various different ways, as well as some of the week stage 2 breakouts and the watchlist stocks for the week ahead and coming weeks following that. So I'll start off with the major indexes, as we've got a few of the major indexes actually testing the stage 2 level again. So we saw a failed attempt back in February with the S&P 500 here, which then rolled over for a few weeks before coming back into the stage 1 range again. It's now testing the top of the structure once more. So we're now pushing up against percentage of stocks low overall above their 50-day, 150-day and 200-day moving averages is only at 41% at the moment. So it's only just moving into potential stage 1 range in terms of the percentage of stocks. So under the surface, we're not seeing the same strength as we're seeing in the actual index chart here. If we look at the daily chart on this, you can see the finish of the week there was very strong with a close up around the +2 times ATR level, but we're still in this broader resistance zone that's been support and resistance multiple times throughout the last year or so. Got 85.8% of stocks above their 20-day exponential moving averages at the moment in the S&P 500. So very strong week in terms of actual the breadth improving in the short term at least. So if we look at the equal weighted chart, that actually expanded as well through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to close above its 1 ATR level, but right at the top of this short-term downtrend channel line. So potential change of behavior in the short term here compared to what we've been seeing over the last 2 months. But so potentially start of a sideways range potentially there. It could start to come back in again a little bit. We're now reaching a point of resistance here, and it's still underneath its 50-day moving average. Go back to the normal chart, the cap weighted chart, obviously above its 50-day moving average and above its 200-day moving average and above its 1 ATR level here. So in a short-term uptrend, but as I said, below major resistance zone here and getting a little bit extended in the short term, but on the 20% percentage of stocks above their 20-day EMA, when it's above the 70% level, there is when it tends to be in a short-term rallying mode. So as you can see, it tends to these stronger periods where it gets above is where we have the most strength. So we're now moving into a short-term rally here at the moment, potentially. We'll see if it can actually follow through or not. Look at the Nasdaq. This one's actually making a full stage 2 breakout attempt this week. Actually cleared the breakout level more convincingly. So you can see much further above. If we look at the percentage above here, actually cleared it by around 2%. Could obviously still come back into the range again. It's its second little higher high here and higher lows. So short-term uptrend, starting to move out of the stage 1, potential stage 2, and outperforming versus the S&P 500. You can see it's above flattening Mansfield relative strength line here, which is the 52-week relative strength moving average is what we refer to as the zero line. So it starts to outperform, moves through the zero line. You can see it's on a 52-week basis, outperforming the S&P 500 there. So starting to move into potential stage 2, but we're still within a broader resistance zone here, as it hasn't yet got back through those early 2022 lows and the July-August 2022 highs there. So moving into a range of resistance at the moment. But in the short term, as you can see, showing some near-term strength in a short-term uptrend above all of the major EMAs that we look at, 21-day EMA, the 50-day SMA and the 200-day SMA in the right stacking order here as it attempts to break out into early stage 2. Nasdaq Composite, on the other hand, not quite there yet, still underneath the stage 2 level here. So at the top of its stage 1 structure at the moment, just starting to outperform the S&P 500 since the early in March here. If we look at it on the daily chart, just coming up into the near-term level. It's been tested twice so far, just under this 1300 level here. As I said, just starting to outperform versus the S&P 500. Look at the Russell 2000 on the other hand, you can see still below, had a good week, up 3.85%, still below the 30-week moving average and a declining 10-week moving average at the moment. Still a fair way below its failed stage 2 attempt there. Needs to move 6 or 7% or so to get back towards potential stage 2 attempt again, but with now multiple attempts through here, potentially pushes that stage 2 level a little bit higher. Maybe look at it on a daily chart, the 200-day is down here, so potentially would still be around this 190, 192 area where it could potentially start to be moving back into stage 2 again, but obviously would still be under resistance at that point, and still a good 6 or 7% until it could make it up until there. So local spring on this at the moment, attempting to move higher. We'll see if it can get back through this 200-day moving average. As if it starts to roll, then there's obviously a chance that this could roll straight back over, fall back down into stage 4. So no guarantees of a stage 2 breakout here, but Nasdaq leading at the moment with the moving into stage 2, and S&P 500 just testing the level. But small caps very, very far behind in the short term here, still near the midpoint of the current stage 1 structure within this broader sideways range that it's been in now for a year. Look at the VIX, continue to drop through the week. The little attempts to pop quickly reversed and carried on lower. So still in a good position at the moment, well below its 200-day moving average. It's absorbed this near-term volatility and started to roll over again. So currently on a positive status for that. Look at the futures, the dollar index rolling over, so it broke down into stage 4 back here, rolled over at the secondary entry point here, continuing lower, which has been good for gold and silver as it's continued lower here. You see treasuries still consolidating within their stage 1 structure at the moment, so potential for a stage 2 breakout attempt in the coming weeks or months if this continues to firm up here. SATA score currently, which is the stage analysis technical attribute score of a 4, so still now a very neutral position at the moment, which you expect to see in a stage 1 type environment. Gold, on the other hand, still in stage 2 here, consolidated for a couple of weeks. You can see those demand tails as it's consolidated above this significant bar, attempted to make higher highs in early stage 2 here. So you can see the stage 2 breakout and then back up entry as it moved back up again. So it's starting to make higher highs through here. So at the moment, consolidating. If we drop down to the daily, see tightening up in a triangle pattern at the moment. So we'll see if it can continue to tighten up through here. But at the moment, SATA score of a 9, so one of the strongest areas at the moment. Silver futures also SATA score of an 8, recovered its stage 2 level after failing. Its initial stage 2 failed, so potentially moving back into stage 2 now. SATA scores recovered to a score of an 8, whereas crude oil, scroll back and get rid of that big bar there, rebounded after obviously the stage 4 continuation breakdown, come back up to its declining 10-week moving average there, drop down to a daily chart of this. See this a little bit more, just getting back above. Let me get the moving averages, just pulling back into that declining 50-day moving average at the moment, but still in a major zone of resistance here, so could easily roll back over again if it can't manage to push through the 50-day moving average. Copper, on the other hand, regained its stage 2 breakout level after briefly falling back below it again, consolidated in the last week, so looking for a continuation move in this in early stage 2. Quickly look at the futures of the major indexes. We've got SATA score of 7 for the S&P 500, mini futures, Nasdaq 100 onto a 9 with its stage 2 breakout attempt here. So you can see the breakout attempt through there. SATA score of a 9 as it breaks out. Dow Jones, on the other hand, much lower down in its base structure, still within stage 1 structure here with a SATA score of a 5. Russell 2000's got a SATA score of 0 currently, so got one little bit of neutral coming in there, but at the moment still very, very weak technically compared to the others. And the Stocks 50 Europe is quite strong as well with a SATA score of 7 as it continues in stage 2. It was your stage 2 breakout week back here. So as it started to come in and the back up and then has moved out and looking for a continuation break on this one or further consolidation.